everybody, it's Maggie from Personal Euphoria with today's plank story. Let's get right into it. Picking any movement. It could be plank, doesn't have to be. Alrighty, here we go. So we've had a lot of rain this year, and our backyard has just been like a giant mud puddle. And my nephews, when they come over, they like to play in the mud. So the last time they were here after a rainstorm, my nephew, who is like 3.5, asked if I put on my rain boots and go play in the mud. So of course I get on my rain boots and we go out and we stomp in the mud puddles and squish through the mud. And my brother, I think he would have joined if he had different shoes, but he had sneakers and he didn't want to get them muddy. So he had come into the yard as far as he could before it just became like gross mud. And while we're stomping around, we see a toad. And my nephew's a little fascinated, and my brother says to him, like, oh, you could pet the toad if you want. And my nephew seems a little nervous about it, so he says to his father, well, why don't you pet it first? And my brother says, I don't want to come that far because I'll get my shoes like really muddy. I mean, you're inches deep in the mud. And he says, but Auntie Maggie will pet it. And I said to my nephew, well, you can pet it if you want, but Auntie Maggie doesn't want to get warts, so she's not going to pet it. And my brother laughed. Well, my nephew looks at my brother and he says, I'm not going to pet it because I don't want to get warts. And my brother laughs and says, you're not going to get warts. Auntie Maggie's giving you her irrational fears. Now, my brother's right. I've Googled this. You don't get warts from touching toads, even though that's like some kind of myth we've heard all along. Apparently, no one even knows where that comes from. Maybe because their backs look kind of warty, but nobody really knows. So I say to my nephew, because I haven't had time to Google this yet, yeah, your dad's right. Like, those fears are irrational. I'm still not going to touch the toad. And my poor nephew, didn't do it. Although the toad was probably thrilled. This toad's probably freaking out, thinking, none of you touch me. That is a 1 minute, 55-second plank. I hope, as always, that you feel wonderful and that you keep moving.